I mean, part of the reason that that was described as racist is because in the video, what is being said is essentially that Democrats want to bring in all of these, Latino Mexicans or whatever, and that they don't speak English anyway, so they don't know who they're going to vote for. I mean, it's pretty clearly a racial attack.
So, I mean, it doesn't matter if you trust them. You have to. They have the power to do this. The Republicans have said. Well, let me finish. We gave her some time. The Republicans have.
Can I just tell you, Democrats don't give a crap about Chuck Schumer's future.
Yeah, but
hold on. I'm not done. I let you talk.
And he's scared.
Okay, do you think anybody cares?
I'm not the only one saying this.
Do you think anybody's going to remember in 4 years about this?
It's a fair point.
So Hakeem Jeffries said it was racist, and I know that he said that, and I honestly don't even know what that means. Like, is he a Mexican American that is offended by having a sombrero?
There are here and non-citizens.
Undocumented immigrants are not eligible for ACA.
Water said the same thing.
Hold on.
Undocumented immigrants are not eligible for Medicare or Medicaid.
HHS report.
Hello, everybody. Guys, we got Bald and Balder, Humpty Dumpty, and Evil Mr. Clean. It's just so clear who Republicans are. This is about the shutdown talks. And watch when they get asked about something that Trump did that was racist. Check this out and we'll talk about it.
Tonight, there is no end in sight to the government shutdown, and there is no Donald Trump in sight either. Instead, the White House put out Vice President J.D. Vance in front of the press on day one, as fingers point in every direction over who's to blame for this. Now, for the Democrats, they have very little leverage here. Even a Washington Post editorial is warning that they played into Trump's hands. It argues that past shutdowns failed to achieve anything for the Freedom Caucus, and there's no reason to think that the same thing won't happen to their left-wing counterparts now. And it appears that the White House and Republicans are embracing this moment.
We believe that layoffs are imminent. They are, unfortunately, a consequence of this government shutdown.
I think that is fantastic, and what it's going to do is it's going to cause Democrats in Congress to scream and weep.
It's those kinds of consequences that forced independent Senator Angus King, who caucuses with the Democrats, to vote to avoid a shutdown.
The irony, the paradox is, by shutting the government, we're actually giving Donald Trump more power. And that was why I voted yes. I did not want to hand Donald Trump and Russell Vought and Stephen Miller additional power to decimate the federal government, to decimate the programs that are so important to so many people.
Shutdowns are a messy thing, and it's hard to say who's really going to get the blame for all of this, but there's clearly some uneasiness in the ranks of Democrats and those who caucus with them. Let me just read for you, Anna, what Democratic Representative Jared Golden said. He said, "This government shutdown is the result of hardball politics driven by the demands of far-left groups that they are making for Democratic Party leaders to show their opposition to Trump. The shutdown is hurting Americans and our economy, and the irony is it has only handed more power to the president. But normal policy disagreements are no reason to subject our constituents to continued harm of this shutdown." I mean, does he have a point?
Look, I think there's something wrong with you, regardless of party, if you don't feel unease and really disturbed by the idea that shutdowns have almost become modus operandi in our country, and that it hurts real people. I remember in the last shutdown there being frankly, bread lines where Jose Andres was feeding government workers who didn't have money to buy food. And this comes in right after the trauma that government workers, federal workers, have faced as a result of DOGE. So, it's the DOGE cuts. It's now this shutdown. I almost wonder, why would anybody want to be a federal worker when supposedly the reason to be one was job security?
And that's what Trump and Republicans want. I mean, they don't want people to serve in the federal government. So this is handing them a win.
But I also think you can't make light of the fact that there is a real issue that Democrats are fighting for here, which is the ACA subsidies and the millions of Americans that are going to be hurt when those subsidies disappear. I don't get an ACA subsidy, but I am on the ACA exchange. I got an email from my insurance company last month telling me because of government changes,
but here's the problem.
The costs are going to go way up.
Aren't expiring. The ACA subsidies.
Easy, Humpty Dumpty. Guys, I want to know what you think should be done here. Let me know in the comments. I saw the polls on this, and I think it was about 50-50, something like 52%, 47% on the entire shutdown thing. Right? It's easy to be on the outside and say, oh, shut it all down when you're being very minimally affected. But in my belief, this doesn't seem like it's that complicated unless I'm missing something. Republicans control all the levers of government right now. The House, the Senate, the presidency. Trump is at all-time lows. Let him do this. This is just going to blow up in their face as people start getting fired, as things start breaking. This is going to affect just about everyone, one way or another. Especially these people of lower income, which Republicans are, on average, of lower income. This is going to hurt them more. And I'm not saying that I want to let them get hurt or anything like that, or let anyone get hurt. But Democrats can't keep trying to meet people at the table. And when these people are boxing with you and we're trying to play checkers and chess and make negotiations, these people, like Trump is putting racist jokes online. We'll get to that in a second. Like, they aren't serious about any of this. And like, you have to be completely brain dead to believe that this would be blamed on the Democrats when they hold all the levers of government. Trump is going to get rid of the programs he wants to get rid of regardless. Get rid of the government employees regardless. Right? They got rid of the DOE, the Department of Education, or trying to. Like, if he wants to do these things, let him at this point. Let him destroy these programs. And it will negatively affect Republicans, independents, for sure, Democrats as well. But especially independents. We'll see how destructive Republicans are and how they just can't be trusted to run government, the economy, literally anything. Everything Trump touches and Republicans touching is being destroyed. Look at what the economy's on the ropes. Healthcare, this idiot RFK and autism, like, this is all insane. Even immigration, they're supposed to be so great at. They're underwater on that. People don't like how they're handling immigration. If Dems give in on this, Republicans will keep walking all over them, doing what they wish. Dems don't want to see you working with Republicans. They want to see you put boxing gloves on.
Aren't expiring until December. And that's part and parcel to the debate we're having, right? The Republicans,
and do you trust Congress? Do you trust this Congress to do anything in time?
It doesn't matter if you trust them. You have to. They have the power to do this. The Republicans have said, let me finish. We gave her some time. The Republicans have voted on 13 clean CRs at times in history in the last few years when Democrats controlled the House, the Senate, and the White House. Republicans did that. I can read you a laundry list of Democratic elected official quotes, including Chuck Schumer, including Hakeem Jeffries, talking about how necessary it is not to insert partisan politics to pass clean CRs. Suddenly, they decided that this one is going to be different, and they own the consequences. A poll out yesterday in the New York Times, 65% of people say the Democrats should not have done this. That's bad polling for the Democratic Party. This is the Chuck Schumer shutdown. He is responsible for this, and no aligning of the stars is going to make the public see it any differently.
I mean, I do think that, first of all, I think the polling and the public sort of impression of this is going to be a big question mark, because one of the other different parts about this shutdown is that previously you didn't have like a federal government and the governing party celebrating people losing their jobs, celebrating people not getting their paychecks. I mean, let me just play what President Trump said about this just tonight. Listen.
Well, there could be firings, and that's their fault. And it could also be other things. I mean, we could cut projects that they wanted, favorite projects, and they'd be permanently cut. So you could say, a lot of people are saying Trump wanted this, that I wanted this closing, and I didn't want it. But a lot of people are saying it because I'm allowed to cut things that should have never been approved in the first place. And I will probably do that.
I just think people are watching this and they're like, wait a second, who wants to open the government? Because Trump seems to be really comfortable with the fact that he gets to do, in his view, in his mind, maybe that's not legal, but in his mind, he gets to do what he has always wanted to do.
Well, that's right. And I think that to the earlier point about whether or not this shutdown gives Trump more power, Trump already believes that he has unlimited power. He believes that everything is being challenged in the courts. He's tried to fire federal workers. He's gone beyond the bounds of any other presidency in our nation's history. And I think the interesting thing about this is that not only is he praising a shutdown, but Republicans on the Hill are actually, when you ask them about the ACA subsidies, they said, Well, why do we need to do that? We didn't actually get. This is not why we got elected. We got elected on the border. We didn't get elected to provide health care for people, which I find interesting because it just shows you that they are nowhere on this issue, and they're likely not going to come to the table. And to be honest with you, everyone keeps on saying this is a Chuck Schumer shutdown. Can I just tell you, Democrats don't give a crap about Chuck Schumer's future.
Yeah, but
hold on. I'm not done.
Right.
I let you talk.
You're right.
The senators in the Senate, they do not give a crap about what Chuck Schumer is going to do, whether he's going to remain leader. Hakeem Jeffries doesn't care about Chuck Schumer. I don't. I don't know about Anna does. I mean, a lot of people.
I'm a registered Republican. I certainly don't.
You certainly don't care about. You certainly don't care about Chuck Schumer. And from Florida.
Chuck Schumer cares. He's been holed up with Democratic groups like MoveOn.org in a war room about the shutdown. He's afraid of not anything else but AOC.
But
that's what Chuck Schumer's afraid of. That's why he suddenly has his beer muscles.
Do you realize
right now on the
that
shutdown.
primary for the U.S. Senate seat, if Chuck Schumer runs for re-election, is in 4 years?
And he's scared of it
Okay, do you think anybody cares?
I'm not the only one saying this.
Do you think anybody's going to remember in 4 years about this?
It's a fair point because it's.
Anna Navarro, if you watch this, if you hear this, I think it's time for you to leave the Republican Party. Come on, these people have shown you. These people have shown you who they are. They don't like our people. They despise our people. Tell this party to F off. But anyways, exactly. I don't know anyone who gives a shit about Chuck Schumer. He has been completely useless with his little speeches and dumb letters he sends to the White House. Like, if it's not about Israel, Schumer doesn't care. That's what I see with him. And again, look where Trump polls are. Record low and is on a down trajectory. Let him go further into despair. This will hurt the Republican Party, and then they will start pushing back once they see their re-election and midterms will become an issue for them. I mean, that's the only strategy I see here. Maybe I'm missing something. I don't know. Let me know in the comments if I am. And I know I'm not stupid. People are going to get hurt. Some people aren't going to get their paychecks. And then if they get fired, they don't get their back pay. I understand that. But this kind of fight may be necessary against someone like Trump. He tries to act tough and a bully. When you meet someone like that, they tend to only respond a certain way, being punched in the face over and over, rhetorically, of course, obviously. I was taught this at a very young age. They hit you, you make them regret ever laying a finger on you.
Kind of hard to.
It's hard to
it's a hard
remember the
argument to
things that
make.
happened
But
last
let me just play what J.D. Vance was asked about Trump's trolling of Democrats. Okay, so like a basic question in all of this is if Trump really was all that interested in getting to a deal with Democrats, would he actually be talking to them, or would he be sending out doctored AI videos? But here's how J.D. Vance responded to it.
Is it helpful to post pictures of Leader Jeffries in a sombrero if you're trying to have good faith talks with him?
Oh, I think it's funny. The president's joking, and we're having a good time. You can negotiate in good faith while also poking a little bit of fun at some of the absurdities of the Democrats' positions, and even, poking some fun at the absurdity of the Democrats themselves. Hakeem Jeffries said it was racist, and I know that he said that. And I honestly don't even know what that means. Like, is he a Mexican American that is offended by having a sombrero meme?
I saw a meme today of Epstein and Trump with fake sombreros and mustaches. I wish a reporter would show it to J.D. Vance and ask him if he thinks it's equally funny and not racist and just having a good time.
I mean, part of the reason that was described as racist is because in the video, what is being said is essentially that Democrats want to bring in all of these, Latino Mexicans or whatever, and that they don't speak English anyway, so they don't know who they're going to vote for. I mean, it's pretty clearly a racial attack.
So, Abby, this is not really my ballywick, right? I'm a lawyer, and the only thing that I'm being affected by seriously is when I'm speaking to the U.S. Attorney's Office and the SEC on Monday, and they're going to give me paperwork, and they're like, well, if we're here on Wednesday, we'll get it to you because we may not be here on Wednesday. But, I spoke to one of my closest friends who lives in Switzerland. He's of Greek origin. I spoke to one of my closest friends who lives in Florence, Italy. And they're like, brother, what's going on in your country? I mean, you guys can't even figure out how to pay your bills? It's the United States of America. You're laying people off? That's what happens in Italy when they had 45 different governments in 45 years. I mean, And and they're not, look, they're not students of our government. They're not necessarily blaming Trump or Schumer or any. They're just like, your country is going to hell in a handbasket. It's becoming like our countries that we can't balance budgets and get people paid. Yeah. And it's sad. And it's sad because the people who are not getting paid this week, who need that money, they don't care if it's this one's fault, that one's fault. They don't care if it's Democrat, Republican. They can't pay the rent. Today's October 1st. I mean, they can't pay the rent.
Most of the federal employees.
Evil Mr. Clean, you bald effing coward, tries to glide right over that obvious racism coming from Trump. These kinds of things don't affect me, right? That's what he said, something like that. These people are so pathetically weak. Unbelievable. She should have kept asking him and force him so he can squirm and everyone can see who these people are. Either you're a bigot and you agree, or you push back and call it for what it is. It's racist, clear as day. And then you can start going on your bullshit spiel. That's why I say I think Republicans have racist Tourette's and share one brain. They cannot seem to control it. This has nothing to do with anything about race. A government shutdown, and somehow they figure out to squeeze some racism in there. And another reason that is racist is because these idiots are trying to lie that Democrats are trying to give free health care to undocumented immigrants, but there's literally nothing in there about that. Like, these people are so, this is why I speak so much about this in my videos. How foundational it is to this party to be racist, disgusting bigots. It's their go-to tool. When they want some attention, a little racism will get their voters' bigoted engine moving. And also, can I say, and it's just like, what was it? It was like Hakeem Jeffries with a sombrero hat and like whatever music, Spanish music playing. Like, these people are so corny. Like, or people say today, cringy. It's like, oh, sombrero and some Spanish music. You got us good with that one. Like, Hispanics, most of us aren't offended by weak ass shit like that. We've heard that kind of crap since birth. What's the other one? Oh, we swam over here or something. Like, you guys are like 4-year-olds. And again, I'll say, keep it up is all I can say. Keep up with the cruelty and bigotry. People are watching. You should be careful with the things you say and do. And the other thing is Trump put that stupid hat, 2028 hat on the desk when Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer were there. Like, again, just not even funny. Like, these idiots probably, like, Trump is 70-something years old, about to be 80. These guys are grown men and senior citizen old men about to croak any minute. Probably giggling at each other, thinking how funny it is what they're doing. People are corny-ass losers.
Who aren't getting paid now will get their money back eventually. So, I mean, for taxpayers, these people aren't doing their jobs right now.
You tell it to the landlord.
Actually, I don't know if we know that they're going to get their money back. I'm not sure this Congress.
There's a law that was passed.
Well, I mean, if they're fired, they won't get.
Well, if they're fired, they won't get their jobs back.
And it sounds like they're going to try to fire them.
It's certainly the possibility that will happen to some people.
And if projects are canceled, there's contractors that are going to lose.
There are certainly going to be consequences.
For Democrats to have supported the CR, sounds like.
Well, perhaps. I think that the thing that I would call attention to is I would agree wholeheartedly that dysfunction is the story that's going to matter here. At the moment, I do think the optics are very bad for Democrats, and Republicans knew this was going to be the case for a very long time. For Republicans, they even get to say, if there's economic dislocation later on in the broader economy, look, the Democrats shut down the government. They've done all of these hazardous things. But I suspect the longer this goes on, the worse the dysfunction gets and the worse this looks for the current administration that is in power. They haven't really been making an earnest effort, at least it doesn't seem that way, to try and get something done here. And the longer this goes on and they haven't tried to get something done.
What more earnest effort in funding the government could there possibly be than saying, hey,
everyone knew the shutdown was coming.
We're simply going to pass the same bill that you voted on 4 times. The bill was fine in March. We're going to pass the same one.
You asked the question, here's what I'd say. Everyone knew that this was coming. There was not a concerted effort on either side of the aisle to actually fix this because the shutdowns have become normalized. And I do think that is the primary story here. Whether or not we place blame on the left or the right, neither side seemed to be too interested in actually fixing the problem.
But I do appreciate something you said. You said that they should vote for the clean CR because the ACA subsidies, the cuts to the ACA subsidies, which are going to affect millions of Americans, don't take effect until months from now, which is the truth. What is not the truth is what J.D. Vance, what Donald Trump, and what Republicans are saying, that this is all about undocumented immigrants. That is a blatant lie that they are feeding the American public because they want to blame everything on undocumented immigrants.
Ro Khanna came out and said that some of the people who are part of the 2.3 million people who were removed from health care are here and non-citizens.
Undocumented immigrants. Undocumented immigrants are not eligible for
Maxine
ACA.
Waters said the same thing.
Hold on.
Undocumented immigrants are not eligible for Medicaid or Medicare.
HHS report actually took back $50 billion from California for funding people who are non-citizens from getting ineligible people.
Non-citizens are not undocumented immigrants necessarily.
Ineligible
Joe.
non-citizens.
Hold on a second. Non-citizens are not necessarily undocumented immigrants.
Correct.
There are some people who are non-citizens who are legally allowed to access some of those programs. But that's, to Anna's point, that's not what any of this is about. This is really about the many Americans, millions of them, who are receiving subsidies, who will have their premiums go up, their co-pays go up. Yeah, but open enrollment starts in a month.
I know you saw the speaker on two shows on this network.
I understand that.
Saying
but Joe,
that we are open to negotiations on the funding amendments
Joe, do you have health
in December.
insurance?
I do. I have government health insurance. It's great.
When do you enroll in your health
Every
insurance?
November.
Okay, so you understand that when you are and your family are sitting there and you're making choices about which plan you're going to be in, you're making that decision not in December or in January 1st when it goes into place, but in November. So that's the issue here. That's part of the issue. Now, maybe you could argue they have 4 weeks to figure it out, but you could also argue that now's the time to figure it out if you're going to try to
Republican
give people,
position
if you're going to try to give people
let's fund the government
real
for 7
choices
weeks
by November
Let's
1st.
fund the government for 7 weeks so that we don't have a gun to our head when we are negotiating reasonable health care policies.
I understand what that position. I think it's totally fine. I just want to clarify the facts on the enrollment dates and also about the undocumented immigrants, which I think has been completely misrepresented. You could call it a lie if you want to.
I'll call it a lie.
Why did the Biden era HHS take back $50 million from California?
Shut up, Fat Joe. Yeah, like I said, and that should have been his name. I call him Humpty Dumpty, but now I was thinking about it. His name is Joe Borelli. Fat Joe would have been perfect. Whatever. Yeah, like I said earlier, let's just blow up on Republicans' face. Like, that's why they have to go out here and lie about giving undocumented immigrants free healthcare. It's a complete lie. Nothing in there about doing that whatsoever. And they lie because they know they have to in order to save face, why they don't want to give the Dems what they want. If this goes through the way Republicans want it, it will be an absolute catastrophe. People don't have the money for this. The increase is something like $5,000 a year. It was about $400 a month. This will for sure put some people out in the streets. It's disgusting. It's horrible. And them should keep bringing that up over and over and over and be vicious, aggressive with it. But I'm going to leave it there, guys. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments. Please leave a like, subscribe. It really helps the channel, really helps spread the message out there. And I'll catch you in the next one.